Hey everybody, what's going on? It's time for Tuesday after Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. I'm Not So Average Joe. And first thing I want to start off right away and jump on Bill's ass. Because, so, you know when you're watching the news, right? And it says fucking live. You know, it's all whoever, it's my name's Kayla, whatever, and I'm reporting live here at, downtown Who Gives a Fuck. Or, wherever, doing whatever. And, supposed to be live. And next thing you know, the same fucking story plays like an hour later. And you find out that everything that was live is actually on a loop. Well, I'm not saying Bill's on a loop, because he's not a fucking news guy. But he keeps saying, through the magic of editing. The magic of editing, this and that. And, so you can tell, like, I knew in mine, when I look, I can actually hear the voice. I can hear my voice when I'm looking, because as you know, I podcast in my truck, and I can actually hear when I'm looking at the like towards the phone, away from the phone. I can tell all that. So you can tell with his editing, like the voice change, Once in the beginning he sounded tired and it was I'm groggy, I just woke up and yada yada, and then he fucking does the pause where he does his reads or whatever, and he says it was like 2 seconds, and then he does another pause and then comes back for the Patrice O'Neal gimmick that he did. But the funniest shit is he adds it. He says I'll come back Tuesday morning and do a quick little thing. Or that's what I remember him saying. I'm not gonna fucking go back. I didn't even take any notes. I'll tell you why in a minute. But no, he fucking So this is pre-recorded, which I've done before. I did it. I actually did it just because he did it. I was like, well, fuck it. If you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Hold on a second here. But so I'm thinking, all right, pre-recorded. And then when we got the Patrice O'Neal benefit, he started out in the very beginning saying, I got to do this tonight. That was all tonight. So now I'm thinking, okay, if that's tonight, that's Monday night, it's what he's talking about. So I was like, all right, cool. Not that I'll have any Tuesday. I didn't think the Patrice O'Neal story was going to be a comedy story or anything. So I just thought, oh, cool. Like, I'll put out my thing and then I can kind of use him for my thing. I fucking share my link in the comments for everybody to talk shit to me about. No, so being pre-recorded, like I said, it's one thing like the night before, but then to play it off, like he doesn't even say. Well, maybe he does say. He does say that he finished. He did the play or the benefit. And he mentions all the names, and whatnot, and yada yada. So I guess maybe he does kind of insinuate that that time has passed, but he just cuts the podcast, and then cuts right into the post comedy show version of it. And I just think it's funny because there's so many times on random days throughout the week, like, I do my Tuesday reaction, Tuesday morning before work, and then it's not until Friday mornings usually when I react to, the next one, reacting to Bill or my own stories, whatever. But the fucked up part, I guess, or, well, I wouldn't say fucked up part, the fucked up part is he with, like he said, the power of editing and all that, and there's so many moments that I say or do or experience something that I want to, I'm like, man, I wish I could have recorded that, or I wish I could fucking, re-record, just like, let's just say what we just said, like my friend and I are talking, let's fucking re-say what we just said. And I'm going to record that and put it in the fucking podcast because it's some hilarious shit that gets missed out. And you know why? Because I don't have the money that Bill's got for the magic of editing, man. I just saw a homeless guy holding the fucking large Little Caesars pizza and a sign. I don't know if he's homeless, but he's standing on the corner at a red light with a Little Caesars box. I didn't get to read the sign, so I don't know if he's trading. Like, we'll trade stale pizza for fucking shelter, or what the fuck is this, man? And this guy just, what are you doing, you fucking stupid? People fucking turn in, there's no turn light, and they're gonna turn in traffic. Man, I feel like people are like trying to take themselves out. Like, that's what it feels like. It's fucking I see more people drive their car into, dangerous situations. So just, I don't know. Like, do you just not give a shit? I mean, I've made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but I mean, one morning, it was a high school morning. Actually, no, it was nighttime. It was late at night, and it was, because it was high school, so, waking up at like 6 in the morning for school, and then it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I had to drive my girlfriend home. And it was a little red light by her house, and it wasn't even a main light. Well, one way it was a main light, and the way I was, it was a back road kind of deal. So I'm just sitting at the light, it's red, and me and her are talking, and fucking, I just see green light. So I start going, and next thing you know, I hear cars honking, and I look up, and I went straight on the turn green. So, no, I definitely understand, people make mistakes, but no, the lights around here, the way they work are, the green turn light happens after straight. So you got straight, so you're sitting there at everybody's red, just say for the story, everybody's red. You turn green straight, yellow is your, straight is green, and then you got the blinking yellow for the turn. Basically saying, look, when the green light for straight goes, if you got no traffic, by all means take your turn. But if there's traffic, hold the fuck on. And after the green light for the straight cars turns red, that flashing yellow for the turning now turns green, and then you can, like I said, if you didn't get a chance to turn, now you can complete your chance to turn. Well, this fucking guy that I'm talking about just now, it turns green for us straight cars, and obviously blinking yellow for his turning lane, and he fucking cuts out like halfway in front of the straight cars, and everybody just keeps going. And everybody's just creeping around him. And he doesn't back up. He doesn't nothing. He just stays there. Like, well, fucking somebody's either going to hit me or they're going to let me turn. And it's like, dude, this isn't one lane. This is multiple lanes. So even if you get hit or if you block the one lane, now you're just being an asshole. You're just being a dick. Like, you're still not going to get where the fuck you want to go. No, but with the pre-recording, yeah, it sucks because... Bill can just fucking hit pause and shit. Like, mine at least right now is on my phone. If I hit pause, I could pause like, like when I hit my vape, and I even say, I'm like, hold on, you guys, I'm gonna hit my vape like right now. And yeah, just like, I can hit the pause button and do a little fucking skitty scatty kind of shit. But if I can't hit pause right now, save this video or this cast as is, and come back later and edit shit either into the middle, onto the end, onto the beginning. Yeah, no, I'm a one take wonder every time. Every time you hear me, that's one take. It's if I fuck up, that's my fuck up. It's not a rehearsed fuck up. It's fucking, that's what happened. If something funny comes out, again, it wasn't rehearsed. It was fucking, I might have notes. Like I said, this time I don't have any notes. And again, I'll say why in a second. Good fucking on you, bro. First car I've seen I can actually attest to on the podcast that made a smart decision driving. Cars were coming and they could have slammed on the brakes and waited to turn, or they just turned, kept the momentum nice and smooth, No flips, no, nothing crazy, no slamming on brakes, and everything in traffic just kept on smooth. That was beautiful. Props to that person back there. A guy, girl, I don't fucking know, but props either way. Now, let's see. Oh, so no, why I wasn't even able to take notes. So I listened to Bill just like most of you at work. I'm at work. I have my notes from the rest of the week, my own dumb stories or happenings. And then I listen to Bill, and, if I'm lucky, well, I'll say today's, but it's more yesterday. Well, I don't even fucking know what day Bill recorded it. But for me, it was last night. But he posted it right as I was my last hour at work, which, if I'm going to listen to Bill, the last hour at work is the best fucking hour because, I already know if I'm hitting my quota or not. So the stress level, isn't like, it's not as bad if I take notes. I can actually take notes on Bill in the last hour. And, Jesus Christ, it's a 4-way stop, man, and nobody knows how to go. All right, I'm out. Thank you. Anyways, sorry about that. Fucking nobody apparently knows how to fucking use stop signs. And I'm not going to be that asshole that fucking pulls out when all 3 of the other people pull out because nobody knows fucking how to do it. God, this is more of a travel, this is like a learner's permit cast than it is a fucking, talking about Bill or anything else. If you stop, I swear to God, I'll hit you. All right, thank God they didn't stop. There was no stop sign, and I had a stop sign. So I was like, if they fucking stop, and I have to do this yielding bullshit. Anyways, no, I didn't have time to take notes on Bill. God damn. Because I usually listen to him at the end of work. My last hour, or on Thursdays, my last 20 fucking minutes, because he does that repeat shit. We got a cast from fucking 2012 with fucking information that means nothing about today's life. I'm just talking shit, Bill. But, I got there's a guy at work. I already told you about the double agent lady. And, she comes out with these crazy stories to begin with. One today, I'll give you an example. I can't believe people don't make their own sauce for strawberries. First of all, I'm like, sauce for strawberries? Is this a strawberry cheesecake thing? And I'm missing the context here? Or, like I said, I didn't understand that. But that's the beginning of the conversation. So there's no fucking background, no context. It's just sauce for strawberries. And then we got another guy. There's a guy at work. And he'll actually give you the context in the background. He'll say, I got a this and that. Today he was talking about, and I only know this because I saw him at the flea market over the weekend. He's talking about a lamp that he was building. He takes, one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of thing. He takes, not trash, but say you're working on your car and you're like, man, fuck this. Like a lot of people take the catalytic converters off. I was going to say Cadillac to be funny, but I didn't want everybody to think I'm that fucking stupid. But, no, the converters, people will take them off. A lot of people sell them or scrap them, but a lot of times they get clogged and, you'll just have it, I know it's technically illegal, but people will just have it cut off. It's like, all right, well, if it's a clog and all I need to do is cut it, then, just cut the fucking clog out, straight pipe the bitch. And yeah, you're polluting more. Like I said, I'm not advocating. I'm just saying I know a lot of people do it. I've bought cars that have had it. Point is, that's what I mean by the trash, is he's not digging in your trash can like, oh man, these fucking folded up soda squishy McDonald's cups are going to make a nice paper mache. No, I don't mean that trash. I mean like scrap metals and stuff. So he took some statue of a lady and he painted it. And he drilled the hole through the center and ran a wire and found a lamp. And so it's a lady lamp. You got a painted lady statue. I don't know if it's stone or not. But regardless, you got to paint it. Well, I doubt it because Stoney probably would have cracked the whole fucking thing trying to drill through the middle. But either way, it's, he took otherwise pointless, like a half lady mannequin statue kind of deal, and and also an otherwise pointless lamp, and he painted it all and made it all his own artwork. And like he said, now somebody out there for like $50 is gonna buy a lamp because it's art, it's decorative, whatever. And he didn't spend, he spent like $2 at the flea market on the shit, $7 on one piece. So he's got like $13 and like, an hour invested. And to him, so that's 13. So you got 37 out of your 50. So for him, it's like, fuck it, $13 investment, 37 an hour pay. That's better than, what we're getting paid at work, even with overtime. But no, the point with him and why I couldn't take notes is we work in a warehouse in a manufacturing facility, not necessarily just a warehouse, but point is, they got machines running all the time, and at least the double agent lady will tell her random fucking line out of her story when it's quiet. All the machines are off at the moment. That's when she'll say, oh, my chicken had an egg so big that it blew out its chicken gina. And like I said, there's no fucking backstory. There's no like why you're telling me. It's just it happened. But with him, you start out with the backstory, and then 5 machines kick on, and then you got your air compressor, so that's, and then fucking the machines are humming and shit, and he's still talking. Like, I can fucking hear him. And he's the kind of guy that, he gets real insulted easily, and, things like that. So I'm nodding. I'm doing the old fake, like, mm-hmm. Uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh, I gotcha, yeah, oh, cool, yeah, it's not even, it's not even out of being, like, disrespectful, like, bored, because, sure, I don't, tell your fucking story, even if I am bored, it comes across, but, dude, you're talking when, like, 6 machines are running, so it's like, yeah, man, I started building this cool-ass, lamp, and next thing, and it's like, dude, nobody fucking hears a word you're saying. I'm sitting right next to you, and I can't hear you. And the thing is, I can't tell you I can't hear you, because obviously if I fucking can't hear you, you can't hear me. And so I just see his mouth moving, and at the same time I got Bill on my my AirPods. Oh, well, on one of them, you have to have one ear open. Most jobs, at least. But so I got Bill in. I'm listening, trying to listen, and I'm trying to fucking be polite to this guy, and politely nod that I know he's talking. Like I said, I can't fucking tell him that I can't hear him, and I'm definitely not telling him after the machines turn off. Because, just the compressor runs for like 2-3 minutes. So you got me fucked up if I'm going to rerun through 2-3 minutes of fucking story that I already, technically heard. But, yeah. So he's talking through, I got machines running. My volume's all the way up. He's talking. I'm still obviously trying to work. And I'm trying to focus on what Bill's saying. So that's why I got no notes, is because I had fucking like 17 things going on at once. And I had to try and fucking, leave with my fucking balls between my legs still, and fucking, with my head on straight, and make sure I had my fucking keys and my phone and wallet, because that's how it felt. It was like, holy shit, like, I actually was overstimulated, and, I'm obviously being a shy guy, I didn't just jump up onto stand-up comedy. I went to, making podcasts and talking shit. Not even comedy, I guess, really. But, point is, podcast is easy because it's not facing 100 or, a couple hundred or whatever people. And, having any expectations. I know there's still expectations because people listen to this and, comment that it's stupid or fucking a waste of time or whatever. But it's more my expectations, and then if you don't like the your expectations come after I already recorded. So it's like, well, sorry, but it's too little too late. So, hope I do better on the next one for you. Other than that, it's as Bill says, go fuck yourselves. But yeah, so I got on one side I got a lady talking random shit. I got on the other side I got a guy who talks through machines. So I got the beginning of a story, like the sixth, like, well, I was gonna say 6/9, but even that's 2/3, and then I was gonna say 6/8, but that's fucking 3/4. So no matter what, but some dumb like 7/10. There you go. You can't take that, cut that in half on a round number. Yeah, 3/5 is 6. Yeah, so exactly 7/10. Whatever. Just get some really stupid fucking some really really odd fraction. Like 93 93 over like 165 or something. You can't fucking divide, but it's so fucking odd. That's how much of the story I fucking don't hear after I heard the beginning of his story. And then I catch the end of his story and I gotta act like I fucking know the whole thing. Like I said, meanwhile trying to work and trying to listen to Bill and, overall all of this over the machines, which working in the machines, that's different. But listening to people and listening to a headphone and working while machines are running, yeah, overstimulated to say the least. So, what was the other part on Bill? There was a part where he laughed. I forget if it was once again, because these fucking storytellers, I forget if it was someone writing into him, or if it was something he thought of. I think it was something he thought of, but he made himself laugh, and a lot of people, everybody has their own version, but you get that laugh where you can't even breathe. It's like like literally you can't breathe, or if you are breathing, it's like a wheezing laugh. And it's one of those good ones, it's a real laugh because the person can't fucking, they're crying, can't breathe, whatever. And he did that to himself. I don't know if, like I said, if it was a writer or if it was one of his stories, but he was laughing, and but just because he's older, I guess, getting older, just like with his how are ya, it's getting more raspy and raggedy every fucking week. It sounds like, like he's getting old sounding quick, like he can't yell with that angry yell anymore. Well, angry, yeah, but can't yell without having the scraggly, older man voice. But no, so he made himself laugh so fucking hard that all you heard was just like this inhale, but it was like a squeaky inhale. It was like I can't even do it. Like, maybe it was an exhale. It reminded me of my cat. Because my cat, when he has a hairball, it doesn't sound like a choking sound. It's like a and that's like a dog. Like if you step on a dog or something, or a dog is hurt and they do that that thing. That's what he was doing in his laugh, but it was his breathing. And I fucking those are the laughs that you go for. But like I said, I don't fucking know what he was talking about, because I got old fucking double agent Deb and fucking Secret Service storyteller, on either side at work. And yeah, so let's see, sports. Oh, he's talking about sports. That's a good one. The Knicks moved on. Congrats to New York. Like I said, I support the New York teams just because my family was from there, and it's always been a thing. He was talking about the Yankees. He asked something about a Yankees fan. Oh, he was talking about all the players, going for money in the Juan Soto, and he mentioned Jose Canseco to the Seattle Mariners, but it's the Mariners, right? I feel dumb saying Mariner because I feel like I'm ordering like cheese sticks. Like I'll have the mozzarella sticks with the Mariners. No, but that's who he meant to say. He didn't catch it, but Jose Canseco is the second baseman, I believe. Or was it? No, I know it's not. Was it something Robinson? Yeah, no, he said Jose Canseco. That's how he mentioned that name. No, Robinson was... What was his fucking name? Now he's got me fucking... I can't believe it, Bill. What is his name? Maybe it wasn't Robinson. It was somethingson. Oh, man. I can't believe it. Now if it's Jose Canseco, I'm going to feel stupid because that's what I thought it was when he said that. Maybe it was. Either way. So, yeah, no, the Yankees, I got family that actually was friends and, you know, intermingled with the Yankees higher-ups in the 50s. So that's the reason to be a Yankees fan. And personally, I know he said to write in. I'm going to write in and say it anyway. But he hasn't fucking answered the fucking email that I wrote to start with. And he doesn't listen to my podcast. So it's not like he's going to fucking catch on and be like, oh, thanks for letting me know. But, no, as an honest Yankee fan, you know, good and bad, I could give a fuck if fucking Soto took $100 million, $900 million, you know, $69.69. I don't give a shit what he does. My thing is team loyalty from the start. So, you know, you're a shitty player no, not even a shitty player. Look at fucking Mariano Rivera. Best closer of all time. And I think Bill would argue the same thing. You know, best closer, which isn't really a position anymore much, but best closer of all time. And never took a pay raise. And if he did, he never asked for it. 1 second. Yeah, I'm not even going to pause it. I'm blowing my nose real quick. See, that's what we call fucking authenticity, Bill. I'm not fucking the magic of fucking editing. I edited out my sniffle. No, you get the full fucking... I smoke a little bit. It makes my nose run. I fucking blow my nose. Then I take another hit, and we keep talking about sports. No, but, so on that note, like I said, my thing is... So, and Bill talks more about hockey, so I'll go into hockey more, because baseball, yeah, you know, it used to just be people played, you know, oh, I just wanted to be a Yankee, because it's, you know, being a Yankee, and now it's just most sports, even with hockey, it's about the money, but, perfect example, Steven Stamkos, and I'm a Lightning fan, and obviously, at first, I was upset, but, you know, as the season went on, Stamkos was a non-factor for, you know, where he went, and he's bad defensively. Like, he's a good shooter, but we got offense. You know, the Lightning they were the second highest scoring team as far as goal differential in the league last year. So offense wasn't the problem. It's defense and puck possession and management. But my point is, you got Mariano Rivera with the Yankees, who was, like I said, arguably best in his position all time ever. Never took a pay raise, never went to another team because they offered more money. He fucking, you know, he got his big chance with somebody. He fucking stayed loyal because they gave him his chance. Like I said, I don't know if they gave him more money, but he never asked for more money. And that, to me, that's the team loyalty I'm talking about. Like, now going to hockey, Steven Stamkos. 16 years you were with the Lightning. So say in 8 of those years, he made like $9 million. So $70 million. You got 8 more years that we didn't count the money for. So let's just say you made half of that. So 35. So we'll even cut it a little smaller and say 70 and 30. So 16 years, Stamkos made $100 million with the Lightning. Not including endorsements, fucking, you know, Nike, Gatorade, this, that, fucking banks, you know, fucking, because him and Hedman did some banks around Tampa, like commercial-wise, you know, fucking, I don't even remember the name, I don't care. But, point is, dude, you made $100 million, and Tampa offered to pay him basically the same money he's making now, but over double the time. So it was like, look, we'll pay you what you're asking, but we'll keep paying you once you retire, because he's gonna retire before that, you know, contract would have been up. And what does he do? He leaves for more money. And guess what? The Nashville Predators, and I'm not even dissing on the Predators, but they finished in the bottom 3 in the league, like in the standings, and they went out and got Stamkos and a couple other big names. And look what it did, because like I said, Stamkos is a big name and he's a good player, but he's obviously management noticed the decline. And the fact that they noticed the decline and he still left for the money, and even now he won't admit, like, yeah, I miss my old team. Like Ryan McDonough came back to the Lightning. It was a trade. We traded back for him. But point is, we took him back, and he was like, hell yeah, I always wanted to come back. Yanni Gord, he got, stolen in the expansion draft. When he got back, hell yeah, I wanted to come back. But Stamkos, he's fucking Mr. Hoity-toity. $100 million over 20 years isn't enough, so he wants fucking 20 more million, for what? You got more money than fucking Bill does. At least that's what from the way I take it. It's like you got enough money to live the rest of your life, your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives. Like, everybody's fucking set. And you're playing a fucking game. You're playing a game that you love. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm not saying you don't put in the work, but dude, you're fucking on your way out. You're the captain of the team. You've been with the team for 16 years, and you're going to leave for 2-3 years at the end of your career for fucking a couple million. Like I said, 100 million you made, and you're going to leave for 3, 4, 5, on top of what you would have got. And then, and even worse, the Lightning at least made the fucking playoffs, and until they lost, they were considered one of the contenders for the Cup. The Predators never made shit and weren't never considered contenders for anything. And I feel bad that they paid Stamkos that fucking much money to basically just take up a roster spot. So on that sense, Bill, with the Juan Soto part, not with Soto, but with team loyalty, if somebody's been good to you for a fucking long time, you don't shit on them. Even if somebody's good to you for a short time, you don't shit on them, but I understand, like I said, it's more about money now, so I understand it. But not with somebody like that, like Mario, even Ovechkin. He could have left, with the goal scoring. Even now, he could take his last year on his contract and, fucking have it bought out, go to some other team for a higher pay probably, who knows. But at least you got to be the greatest or one of the greatest to fucking, command the fact that you are leaving one team for another team for higher pay. Like, it's not God, man. Either Canseco or Robinson. It's not Jose Robinson. And it's not Nate. Either way, the second baseman that left the Yankees, like, I wasn't too upset because he came, like you said about Johnny Damon, he left and then he left again and then left again. It's one thing, but you spend your career with the team or, a team gives you a chance, like you're a last round draft pick, and then you come up and, all of a sudden now you're fucking too big for your britches, too hoity-toity, and you want more money. That's where I disagree. I think it's crap, but I think it's crap on the person. Obviously, the leagues are designed for money and for profit, and, I understand people want money. Bill went to Hulu from Netflix because they weren't paying enough. At least that's what the media says online, which I could see, because money's money, everybody wants to be comfortable. But like I said, $100 million, you make $100 million and you're on your retirement bed, because, not deathbeds, but your retirement beds, and you're still that fucking greedy that you're going to leave who's been so fucking faithful and loyal to you, all these fans, and you're just going to ditch them for a few $1 million after hundreds of million? Fuck off. Enjoy your losing team. And like I said, nothing against Nashville, and I'm sorry that you bought this fucking guy. But, no, that's my take on that. But sports, the Panthers fucking won. Toronto's a Game 7, they're notorious in at least my lifetime, and even Bill's lifetime, or, my parents' lifetime. The Leafs are Game 7, notorious losers, so I should have known better. And I knew, I knew, but I had hope. Like I said, I don't want the Panthers moving on, so now I'm rooting for Carolina on the East. The West, we want Dallas just because McDavid's a crybaby and he deserves to grow up a little. Then get his cups. I don't care. He can win 4 or 5 in a row, but at least fucking grow up, But, yeah, so on that note, we're down to just playoffs. And baseball's just starting, so I'm not watching 160 fucking games. I look at the standings, and I keep track of a little bit. And then, like Bill said, there's no MotoGP. So on that note, everybody have a good, safe, happy, healthy week. Catch in on Friday. Bill's going to be boring probably on Thursday. More billionaire bullshit and only half a podcast before he does the other shit with music by Andrew the Feminist. Alright, so yeah, go fuck yourselves. Have a good one. And, yep, I'm out. Got a phone call, looks like.